Welcome inside the cabin, with me, your host, Anna Wolf. For many years, I thought I was alone, never really understanding the importance of community, and the one word I almost never believed in was trust. But here I am, showing up in a new way, a way I hope brings you solace. I'm creating these podcast episodes for my community, for you, my fellow wolf. The stories I share in this cabin are my own experiences, and they're finally ready to be told with the intention of helping people connect the dots for themselves. We are capable of so much more, yet we often find ourselves in moments of doubt, feeling small, not pretty enough, not smart enough, and believing the lies that we are somehow less than we are. And for so long, those labels were my anthems. Well, not anymore. Now I see life as an ongoing school, a place to keep learning, unlearning, and growing. I'm here to remind you that we aren't alone on this quest for more. By the time you leave each episode, I hope you'll start asking yourself better questions and maybe even start telling yourself better lies. Expansion comes from when we fill ourselves with an empowering knowledge that reminds you of your strength and capability. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, but you can think of me as your muse, your mentor, and fellow wolf, walking alongside you, bravely venturing into the unknown. Welcome to Anna Wolf in the Cabin. The topic I have for us today, my fellow wolf, is: am I ready to be seen? When I was in primary school, I remember always asking myself, should I be saying more? Dressing differently? Why do I feel so alien in this environment? I had the ability to notice everything. The problem was, I saw it all at once. The new shoes on my only friend's feet, the shifting of social circles, the gossip around the tuck shop, the emotion on my teacher's face when she walked into the classroom each morning. I observed everything at the same time, which meant I felt everything at the same time. This was because my parents couldn't process their own emotions, so I ended up feeling everything for them. I wasn't just observing, I was absorbing it all, constantly in overdrive. To cope, I became the funny kid, loud, dancing on school tables, entertaining the art class, and making people laugh. Well, it worked. For a while. But while I gained instant approval, it was built on a broken foundation. As life became harder and my family dynamics evolved, things grew more complicated. Home became volatile. Divorce was always looming. So I turned inward, hiding away and creating a life of my own. I became the quiet kid, the kid who played alone for hours in my grandmother's garden, crafting ghost friends and imaginary stories where I was everything. The life inside my head became far more interesting than the life outside of it. I started obsessing over things that I couldn't have, a deep longing for belonging, connection, validation, a simple conversation. The funny kid had now become the weird, quiet kid. The one who barely scraped by in school. My dad shrugged it off. He said, well, we don't have money for a university in anyway. If I'd been diagnosed back then, they probably would have said, I have severe PTSD, ADHD, and anxiety. All of it manifested in my body, my liver, my skin, my health. I was constantly ill as a child. My spleen and glands were always under fire. And this is where my journey began. A journey I had unknowingly created for myself. Well, it kept me safe. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Whatever keeps you safe, do it. It is from there that you can still fully find your answers. But you see, what I didn't know, that resisting being seen would only make that resistance stronger. As a young adult, I thought, teamwork? No thanks. Socializing? Overwhelming. And besides, I'm the coolest kid in the room. I believed not being seen felt safer. I convinced myself I was too unique for anyone to understand. Well, All these stories were, of course, total lies. I gravitated towards others who didn't want to be seen either. Together, we would gather and complain about what we'd experienced that week, never realizing that we had created these very experiences ourselves. If I wasn't hanging out with those friends, I'd be on my grandmother's front porch, pretending to star in Dawson's Creek. Dawson was my ghost friend, Dylan, and I'd even kiss my hand, pretending Dawson was madly in love with me. At age 13, those imaginary games ended. I was faced with a new reality. I asked myself, what's next? For me, the answer was music. I placed an ad on Gumtree. Guitarist needed for punk band. Call now. I auditioned guitarists and ended up dating most of them. Anyone who saw me, really saw me, was given permission to hold my hand or kiss me. I didn't give my body away entirely, just the kissing. Each kiss meant I was enough. The band took off. We called ourselves Malfunction. We toured, played shows, signed autographs, and appeared on local TV. It was fabulous. I was seen. Or was I? I signed my first record deal at age 14. Mom, Dad, the band is gonna make it. I started praying at night. God, please send a crowd to my shows. Even just one person. No, just a few more. Actually, 200 people. That's all I need to be seen. The number of people at my shows became a direct link to my self-worth. 5 people weren't enough. It had to be a packed theater. The music industry is tough, especially when you start getting in your own way. So I spiraled inward again, overthinking my art, burdened by my own expectations. In my late 20s and early 30s, I fully believed that I was only good at one thing, and that was music. And yet, I was drowning in my thoughts. I'd created these thoughts to protect myself, but they now kept me from being seen. Eventually, I asked myself, Anna, you're protecting yourself from the world, yet you want to be seen by the world. How does that make sense? If you're holding back out of fear, how can you begin to show up? How can you let your imaginary ghost friends become real? The truth is, you don't have to play pretend anymore. You can just be. I lied to myself for so long, thinking I could only show people one part of me, the singer. But now I know I am so much more than my art, my performances, or my songs. Here is what helped me move forward. Stop giving yourself a hard time for wanting to change. Seek help. Fill your mind with calm and knowledge. By doing these things, I created space between my soul and my mind. I learned to recognize old patterns and distinguished between fear and trust. To all my artists out there, if you want to start a band, write a book, or create something new, well, what's holding you back? Yes, you might think, but what if it's not good enough? But if everyone believed that, we'd have no new art, no new stories, and everything matters. Every dot matters. Are you ready to be seen, my fellow wolf? Not just the part you think is your calling, but all of you, your movement and your silence. It's all your calling. The real question isn't whether the world is ready to see you, it's whether you are ready to see yourself. The mantra is, hand on your heart and repeat after me. I am ready to be seen. I am ready to be seen in my art, in my silence, and in my alignment. I am ready to see myself. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Until next time, keep seeking, keep feeling, and most of all, keep growing, steadily, bravely, walking into the unknown together.